Hey everybody, what's going on? I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom for the week of April 9th through the 16th of 2023. It's so funny. I still can't get used to saying 2023. Anyways, I'm having a moment. I think I've been watching a little too many progressive movies and shows these days, you know? But here we are. Pluto's officially in Aquarius, as I've mentioned in my previous videos, and we're getting some tasters already. Lots of talk about AI, lots of talk about technology and how medicine is changing and the scientific community. This is all very Aquarian. That'll continue for quite some time. And the big theme for this week, we've got a couple of planets moving around, but more so to put a little pin on the map, as of Saturday, this last week, April 8th, Mercury has entered its pre-retrograde shadow. And as most of you who've been following me for a while know, Mercury retrograde is not the devil. I'm not going to say doom and gloom during any Mercury retrograde. Happens 3 to 4 times every year. We know what to expect in some ways. It gives us an opportunity for us to slow down a little bit, to revisit all those RE words, and to be able to redo or take on a situation and look at it from a different lens. Now, granted, we know Mercury retrogrades do have a tendency to make things a little foggy at times. They're not quite what they appear to be, because there can be miscommunication, or the interpretation that we receive through our own filter of wherever we're at emotionally, mentally, physically, whatever at that time. It interprets something maybe not quite the way it was meant. So the invitation, and we're probably already getting a little taste of this before Mercury officially retrogrades, is that the invitation is to, right now, don't take anything personally, double check things. Please don't make assumptions. Go back and reread things before you respond. It's such a great practice. This is the thing I like about Mercury retrograde. It's a good practice of noticing where I'm reacting versus responding. Remember, reacting comes from an unconscious, unthoughtful process, whereas responding says, wait a minute, let me pause, let me check in, what's happening inside of me right now, and speak from that place. A lot of us are going to have a revisiting of conversations, because Mercury rules communication, connection, transportation. We're going to have conversations that may have come up over the last couple of months, weeks, that get to be revisited. Maybe there's something that there is a change of heart, a change of mind about a decision that we've made, and we have a chance to work through it from a different angle. So just putting that pin on the map, I'll talk more about it, especially as Mercury does station retrograde in about 10 days. So in the meantime, Monday, April 10th into the 11th, depending where you are in the world, Venus is going to make her ingress into the sign of Gemini, where she's been in her home sign of Taurus for the last couple of weeks. Now she moves into Gemini, stimulating more of the mind versus heart. Whereas with Venus in Taurus, it's a natural place to be open-hearted, to be giving. Our loving, give and receive way of doing things might have been making people feel warm and friendly and nurturing and all of that. And in the sign of Gemini, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and it's got this mental energy. So we're working with how the head and the heart line up, right? How they work together. And so here's Venus maybe using words in which to express how we really feel or how we want to connect with somebody. There's a fun, flirty kind of energy with Venus in Gemini. Find a lot of us, especially if you're single and looking for love, you may get a little more intellectually stimulated and be attracted to somebody who's a little bit more intellectually stimulated. And then there's going to be a lot more batting of the eyes and this sort of tease kind of energy. It's great if you're bonded with somebody, you need to reignite the passion or reignite sort of the attractive quality. Maybe that got a little too comfortable with Venus and Taurus, and now it's like, okay, let's mix it up a little bit and do a little teasing even in the bedroom and things like that, or wait till we get home, guess what's going to happen kind of thing. Also, with Venus and Gemini, we like to be around others who use communication for connection. So we're going to use a lot of words. We're going to maybe get interested in things that we like to learn, and we want to share that with someone to attract them, or we want to share with others how much we've learned and become attractive because of that. Now, there's also going to be a trine to Pluto that happens because Pluto's in Aquarius, as I mentioned, at an early degree. So as Venus first moves into Gemini, we've got this trine. So there's a greater emphasis on the communication within relationships. There's going to be maybe some deep and meaningful things that get revealed through our connections and the conversations. What do we learn about, the other person? Here's the subject matter maybe that we've learned and we're sharing it, and suddenly that person reacts and we're like, oh, I just learned something new. Or we're asking a lot of questions that are deep and penetrating, and it lets us get beneath the surface of what's really not being said. Powerful ideas lead to transforming of systems during this time. Just keep in mind, we can't take back our words, and then especially we're human, we're going to hear something, maybe misinterpreted, maybe we just interpret it through our wounds or our own filters, and we respond or we react. We can't take it back, and then we're going to process and we're going to make up stories around it, assumptions. The invitation is stay open-minded, stay curious. That's the gift of Gemini energy, curiosity. And keep it light. So if it's been too heavy, this is a chance to lighten things up a little bit. Also, Tuesday on the 11th, the Sun and Jupiter are canoodling. This is considered to be one of the luckiest times of the year because it's also the Sun and Jupiter in Aries. And Aries exalts the Sun. The Sun loves being in Aries. Jupiter loves fire signs. It's optimistic, hopeful. There's a lot of new opportunities that can come up at this time. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of this. Maybe you get that feeling of heroism here. You feel like a hero, or you want to be a hero, and Jupiter's expanding that and giving you the opportunity to jump in, and maybe you feel a little invincible. Good, go for it. Take a little risk. It's a great time to be inspired. So if you felt a little like, meh, nothing's happening, suddenly, boom, here it is. Confidence is going to get a boost here with the Sun and Jupiter. So, it can expand our horizons. Maybe there's an abundance of income that shows up, friendships, accolades. It can show up in many different ways of abundance. We do know that too much of a good thing can go bad. So the flip side is there could be a little bit of bombastic conversation, arrogance, maybe coming across a little too overly confident. So when I say take risk, but do it from a place of grounded presence. Wednesday, we have a brief moment with the moon in Capricorn. It's going to oppose Mars in Cancer. And just when we were feeling confident and inspired and all of that, with that Mars in Cancer opposing Capricorn moon, the fears and the doubts could creep in. And it's like, oh, wait, did I just say the wrong thing? Maybe we were so confident to share how we feel about something or someone to another person, and now we're vulnerable. Oh, or we learned something about someone that we're like, oh, what did they really mean by that? This is what I say. Pay attention. Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to be in this time where we may be over-analyzing, overthinking things, making up stories. We might be really nervous about, do I still belong with this person or this situation, this group, whatever? Here's this, like, I've been raw. And are people judging me? Maybe they're making fun of me because I got a little too emotional, or I said something and I was trying to inspire them and it didn't work out for them the way it worked out for me. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just throwing some things out there. Please just stay grounded. It's a moment in time, especially Thursday, the moon and Pluto will canoodle in Aquarius. So communication is the key, and being willing to just go back to, I know that I'm perfectly imperfect human. How can I innovate my understanding of things? How can I think differently, maybe out of the box after I have this real grounded moment with myself? On Friday, the moon in Aquarius will square off with Mercury and Uranus in Taurus. And so, but there is going to be a trine still happening with Venus. So hang in there. At the end of the week, there could be sudden moments of tension that lead to this breakthrough. So Wednesday, Thursday, you're feeling these fears and doubts, whatever may creep up. Well, here comes Friday, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I know better. And look at this thing that's just showed up to confirm the things that I know about myself or I know about the situation. There could be a release of information and ideas that show up for us. It can challenge us. There's a sense here that our identity could be reconstructed because we may get some news that says, hey, you're no longer married, or hey, you're no longer single, or hey, whatever it might be. And I'm just pointing to relationships because that is something as we as human beings always are focused on. I shouldn't say always, but most of the time. But this gives us a chance to move forward. So if you've been waiting for that new job, hey, I'm no longer unemployed, or I'm no longer doing this role, I'm ready to take on the next one. This is a time where you may get that news. Now, Saturday, the 15th, and moving into Sunday, it's fairly quiet over the weekend astrologically, but mentally and emotionally, we're probably still feeling the effects of the full moon that happened last week and leading up to dun, dun, dun. Next week, we have a new moon, but it's an eclipse, and it's in the sign of Aries. It's our first eclipse in these signs with Aries North Node, Libra South Node since in 18 years. So go back 19, 18 years when Aries North Node, Libra South Node, what was happening? Some of those themes are coming up again, not exact as far as the situation, because we're not the same people, or probably not even in the same situation as we were 18 years ago, but some common themes, if you will. Keep in mind too, and I'll talk more about this in my video next week, but eclipses are new and full moon on steroids. We're going to feel the effects of these eclipses usually a month before, sometimes a month after, maybe even further out, depending on our situation. Aries is pioneering, go-getting, fearless, and independent. That with it being the North Node, that's going to be our challenge point. That's what we're striving for. That's what we're wanting to work towards. Libra is accommodating, relationship building, collaborative. That's what we're working to integrate, not necessarily default to. It's a natural thing collectively, since this is a collective energy that we're bringing in. So what you may find is that there's going to be this, okay, let's everybody get along and not talk about the real things that need to be talked about. Some things can get swept under the rug if we're not careful. So look at your chart. Depending on what area of your chart this eclipse is hitting and the aspects to the other planets, you're going to feel the effects of this eclipse more. Cardinal signs, your Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn, you're going to feel these because this eclipse is going to either conjunct, oppose, or square your sign. So if you have a heavy cardinal emphasis in your chart, you're going to feel these effects. Now, the other thing is the generalized theme overall is about me versus you. How do I still be my own independent self and participate in right relationship and healthy relationship? We may find ourselves over the next couple of months ready to break free of anything that has bound us, but we want to make sure everybody's okay. Can we do it peacefully? Can everybody be, nicey nice with each other, right? Can we have a win-win situation? And remember this, if your agendas don't line up, there's no way that you're going to have a win-win without radical acceptance. So we're going to be working with that too. And there may be some contracts, whether it's literal contracts, but marriage, professional, soul contracts, all those are going to be revisited, reworked, maybe broken, maybe renewed. Because remember, this is all happening with Mercury going retrograde and in shadow. So keep all that in mind. We're going to be challenged to be less accommodating. And we're going to want to also probably challenge ourselves with working more autonomously and less waiting on others to show up. So taking the lead in certain areas of our lives. And yeah, we may feel the fear, but the courage, we're going to have to work with feeling fear and still moving forward. That's what courage is. and trusting, really trusting. We've been working with the North and South Node in Scorpio Taurus, North Node in Taurus, South Node in Scorpio, where we've been working on letting go of those moments of betrayal, mistrust, the healing that needs to take place for us in order to lead, in order for us to be fearless. And so it's all being set up for us in a beautiful way. All right, you guys, I hope that this helps. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Come find me at jamiedawn.com, and I look forward to working with you. Have a great week, everyone.